welcome into another edition of In the Club. I'm your host, Stephen Ruffing. Today we have some very special guests in Cal Times. They're going to be our only club joining us today. Usually we have two, but we're going to give Cal Times the full slot to talk about, their organization. And these are some of my very special guests, some of my favorite people around Cal, Danny Beck and Rachel McCrigger. A couple people that you may have seen, may have heard before. Guys, welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be back on set. I think the first time that we didn't in the club was Cal Times and WCL, so it's good to be back on.
Feels like so long ago, and now we're at the tail end. Oh my goodness.
Right, the only difference is we guys have you back this time. We're in HD quality, a little new equipment around here. Let's get into it. Before we, dive back into Cal Times, let's get to know you. If we have some new viewers coming in, Danny, maybe they don't, know the face, maybe they don't know the voice, they don't know Danny Beck. Just how you got here, your major, how you got into Cal Times.
Yeah, I'm a junior, so I came here, 3 years ago. It's crazy to believe that 3 years ago already. I'm a communication studies major, and I kind of got into Cal Times because of the fact that I wanted to just be well-versed, well-rounded with everything. And so I joined Cal Times and started writing and then just kept with it. And now I'm working my way up the ranks. I don't want to look too forward ahead. But yeah, so I'm involved with CUTV, involved with WCL and with Cal Times. So I'm well-versed, I guess you could say now.
Versatile person, one of the, core people down here. It's great to have you back. And Rachel, you've been steamrolling your way through the media suite. You just recently kind of got into the TV side of things. You have been absolutely crushing it on the paper side of things. And just, kind of what Danny was talking about, your experience, how you got here.
Well, it's crazy because just like Danny, I came here 3 years ago too, but I'm graduating a year early, something that was very high up on my list as much as I love Cal U, but I got into the Cal Times because of Jose Negron. Big shout out to him because he was the editor-in-chief before me. He kind of showed me the ropes. Second semester I was here, became sports editor, which was absolutely crazy. I just found out a couple weeks ago I was the first female sports editor in Cal Times history, which was crazy. But then I became editor-in-chief, been in the position for 2 years. I love it. I'm ready to pass the reins down, as bittersweet as it is. But I'm excited, and it was great to be able to get back into CUTV as well.
Oh, for sure, and we're going to get to passing the reins down. But first, Dan, you both kind of mentioned getting involved with everything. Danny, you said all three, parts of the media suite. Rachel, you're just getting back into the TV side of things. Danny, we'll just start with you because it's, you're rounded all over the place. How important is it, from anybody in a media program to get involved with all three sides of, what's going on around the media?
I think it's very important just because of the fact that when you look to get a job, that next opportunity, if you're well-versed in everything, because a lot of places, a lot of the next level positions are looking for people that can do it all. A lot of the past people were kind of, if you could talk, you're the announcer, you're the person that sits at the news desk. Now they want somebody that can shoot their own video and all that stuff, and that's what we're really getting into with Cal Times now with video journalism. We're going out and even stories that we're writing, we're getting video for it, we're writing a script and it's going on News Center. Just simple things like that, just getting practice out in the field, and I think that that's what's necessary. Radio, it's kind of, you're doing your own thing. I know I do a lot of sports broadcasting on the radio side of things with CUTV, so everything kind of just overlaps down here at the media suite, and that's what makes it the best part for students, because they can get their feet wet in 3 different organizations and better themselves at the same time.
Yeah, you couldn't have said it any better, hitting the nail on the head. Now, Rachel, how are you going to, you're graduating soon. A big word is multimedia journalism. Paper is slowly on the way out, but that doesn't necessarily mean the end for print journalism. How are you going to take your experiences with this multimedia, look on this side of things and just storm the fronts of professional journalism?
That's a great question. It's crazy because there's so many different aspects to where journalism is going. Multimedia is where the future's at. I learned the very hard way that print media is on the downside. 2 newspapers employed with. Sadly, I'm not with them anymore. But, you live and you learn. You you learn that while print is still there, print might be dying, but the media isn't. And you just take everything that you learn. Danny's absolutely right. You get involved with everything, and you learn to do video, you learn how to edit, all that fun stuff. And you take that, you take your clippings, and you go, you hopefully get a job somewhere.
Yeah.
And you just crush it. Do exactly what everyone asks you to do. If there's something that needs to be done, don't ever say that that's not your job.
Right.
I never worked on an obituary desk before, but then they told me to go do it, and I was like, yeah, okay, more what being well versed in something. So it's crazy. You just want to learn everything: print, online, multimedia, just everything. It's so valuable.
Yeah, and you say that. What kind of things, we talk about how you're going to do this. Now, you talked about a few jobs that you had. What did you take from Cal Times to the professional field? Getting out there, getting your feet wet with, a couple starter jobs almost. What did you take from Cal Times to these different organizations?
Everything.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. At the Herald Standard especially, because I was a copy editor there, and we used InDesign, and there were some cheat codes that I was working with 50, 60-year-old other editors, great people, and I knew some stuff that they didn't even know. So it was kind of crazy to just be like, hey guys, why don't we try this? But just everything, you take everything that you learn, whether it be from the software or how you interact in the newsroom, how you write a story, how you write a lead. It's everything that you take and you really implement it in your work.
Yeah, and you couldn't have said it any better. I know both of you have worked your way from the very bottom as a Cal Times contributor. And now, Danny, you're the sports editor, and again, just teasing it a little bit, soon to be editor-in-chief. Sorry, I kind of stole their glory there for Rachel to kind of pass those reins down, but we'll give you an opportunity to do so. But, in your case, Rachel, the current editor-in-chief, working the way from the bottom to the top, has Cal Times been everything that you wished for, Danny, coming in, getting that hands-on work and experience? Has it been everything you imagined, I guess?
Yeah, I definitely think so. And it's funny, I don't know if you do this often enough. I look at all the articles that I've ever written and just see how good or how much you improve, rather. Yeah. So it's you can see your work and just see the different classes that we've taken here at Cal too. They change how you write. I mean, she was mentioning how in the leads and how you write a story and how you really compose it. And one of the first times I've ever interviewed someone, I interviewed the baseball coach, and I worked with CUTV and we put it on News Center, but I also wrote a story about it. So it's cool to see how you really do move up those ranks. And I mean, the contributor role, I guess, or the contributor title that you get might not be the editor or the editor-in-chief, anything like that, but still you have to start somewhere.
Yep.
And I mean, you were talking about your professional career and stuff like that. You're going to have to do that at the next level. You're going to have to start, like you were talking about, and obituaries or doing these little things, and they might seem like very small tasks, but when you start piling them up and people start looking at you, and that's how I got the role of editor-in-chief. I just stuck around, and that's how really everything at the Media Suite works out. You just stick around, you keep doing your job, and you get the positions that you want.
Yeah, and again, you guys, you know these things. You have been there, and Rachel, we'll just start with you, but I kind of want both of you to kind of interact with this question because it's an extremely important question. You guys have been here 3 years. You have seen everything, you've done it all, and everything still changes. Now, I know from just being on the TV side of things, just being down here, it's tough getting new students to come down to stay with it, really. You get the students, but it's tough to get them to stick. Now, how important is it for these students to come down, get involved, especially in the journalism field and the communication studies programs? How important is it? What can you say to them, I guess?
Well, Danny knows this better than anyone. I'm a straight shooter, and I go into these classes sometimes. I'm really lucky to have a really good relationship with Dr. Carlisle, the journalism professor, and he sometimes has me come into his class, Journ 1, Journ 2, all these other different classes, press law and ethics, and talk about what the Media Suite has to offer. And to be honest, with our field, an employer's not really going to care if we get a C+ in earth science or if we get a B+ in journalism 1 even. What they care about is your clippings. As long as you're going out there and you're making the effort, then you're showing that, this is something you really care about. And if you don't care about it and you're just going to class, doing the regular to-do list, then you really don't care as much as some others.
Yep.
So you have to come out here, you have to get your clippings. I would have never gotten employed in school if I wouldn't have come down here and gotten involved at all.
Yeah, Danny?
And kind of piggybacking off what she was saying, going to classes and stuff like that. This is a great opportunity down here at the Media Suite because of all of this new. I mean, you open the show with how we have HD cameras now. And so we're shooting at a higher quality. We're putting out news quality stuff, news quality video and all that stuff. And you're getting hands-on knowledge, hands-on stuff that you can take from the classroom and really utilize it. And I mean, you're talking about clippings, but also just going out and getting video. I mean, Ryan Kaufman, he was working at News Center on CUTV. He was shooting video side by side with these big news entities, WPXI, KDKA, all this stuff covering the same things. So if you come down here, you're getting the exact same knowledge that professionals are utilizing in their careers. So just coming down here and showing an effort, showing an interest in this, the people that are down here will make sure that you get that knowledge. And that's why California University of Pennsylvania is the top of my list when I was looking at schools, just because of this hands-on knowledge you can get from the Media Suite. And that's really one of the bigger reasons why I came here, honestly.
Yeah, and that field experience, working with these, big organizations, big professionals, that can, look at some of the things that we've done, try to get you to working with those professionals, and that goes along with some of the trips that you guys have taken, some of these conferences that you have been to. It gives you a chance to, if you're not out in the field, get to learn about the professional and see the professionals in action. Rachel, what kind of, this kind of goes along with the SPJ, just some of the trips and conferences that you have went to as Cal Times.
We went to Detroit last year for the SPJ conference. This year, we were really fortunate to have a really close trip at Point Park down in Pittsburgh, and it was incredible. The stuff that you learn there, the connections that you make, it's really, I guess it's really irreplaceable, because you're just meeting all these new people, learning different types of, ways to do things, I guess, so to say, for lack of a better word. Everybody has a different style in how they do things. Absolutely, every company has a different style, and it's really cool to meet people and see what other styles are. And even going to just other universities in general, like Danny and I, we pick up newspapers all the time from other universities and just kind of see how they're doing, private or public. And it's really interesting. We've taken a couple ideas, and I know a couple of other papers have taken, kind of swapped ideas with us. It's really interesting to see the dynamics of what other companies and what other schools do. So it's very rewarding.
Yeah, that's interesting. You say that with, the other schools. And Danny, just to kind of put you on the spot here, is there any things that come to mind, what kind of things that you learned from other schools maybe, or things that you kind of passed along, things that maybe you have seen, in the journalism field that maybe you can, in the future, bring to Cal Times?
I mean, Rachel was talking about it a lot when we went to Detroit.
Yep.
I think one of the bigger parts, or one of the biggest pieces that I took away from that conference, was the fact that print media is dying, but media as a whole is getting a lot stronger. And we're going full circle with everything. And so a lot of the things that I took away from that was utilizing social media. I think that we do a great job of it at Cal Times, especially with CUTV and even WCL, just go full circle with that. But I think that a lot of social media and stuff like that can be integrated into media, whether it's print, whether it's video, anything. And I think that a lot of these places, we went to Bloomsburg for a conference, the Pesci Media Conference, which that taught me a lot too, because it was at Bloomsburg and it was a state school. So that we took a lot of those newspapers. We took, I think, 2 or 3 from there. Just putting crossword puzzles in there, just fun things. So somebody's picking it up, not only for the news. They're picking it up kind of to have an experience. And I think that that's what really media is all about, to kind of get away from or learn more about the life that you're living.
Yeah, that's, again, interesting, points. We'll get to, kind of the future of Cal Times. We'll get into those, future trips. It's interesting you say about the crossword puzzle, maybe some cartoons.
Yeah,
and there's
I don't want to say anything.
Yeah.
I don't want to say anything.
Yeah, but for now, we're going to take a quick break. Coming up next, we're going to get into the future, passing down the reins, what's coming up for Cal Times. Please stay tuned here on In the Club on CUTV.
Oh, emojis. I thought the conversation just got dumber.
Ugh, internet trolls, just ignore them.
I like you just the way you are.
I believe in you.
She's a hugger. Give her a squeeze.
Help up the hand.
Ah, there you go.
Thanks, mate.
You're killing it, Jane!
Well, Thomas, you've got prediabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have prediabetes. Big time.
150 over 90.
180 over 111.
160 over 110. I had a stroke.
This is what high blood pressure looks like. You might not feel its symptoms, but the results from a stroke are far from invisible or silent. If you've come off your treatment plan, get back on it or talk with your doctor to create an exercise, diet, and medication plan that works for you. Go to loweryourhbp.org.
If I would have followed a treatment plan, I would not be in this situation.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right?
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
Welcome back to CUTV in the club. I'm your host, Stephen Ruffing. Joined with me in studio is Danny Beck and Rachel McCrigger. 4 Cal Times, if you're just tuning in, good conversation going on, kind of some experience, type deals, what you guys have went through. Now, let's kind of look ahead a little bit. Rachel, I know you've been eagerly waiting to introduce Danny as the new editor-in-chief. It's been out there, it's been posted, but, just give you a few minutes to, pass it along.
Don't
he
cry,
is the
don't
future.
cry.
Yeah.
I'll try not to cry. Oh my gosh, he's gonna do such a good job. I mean, I know it's so hard to juggle a bunch of things, but I think the best person to do it and take on a role like editor-in-chief is this guy right here, and he's such a team player. He's been crushing editor-in-chief training, and it's just he makes my life easy. So I know he's gonna do the same thing. He's gonna be a great leader. It's hard to pass down the reins, but 2 years was good enough. It's
had your glory.
I had my glory for 2 years, so it's time to pass it on. And I'm just so excited. I can't wait to come back, visit, and see the newspaper. And you still have my number, so if you need anything,
yes,
if you have a question, just put me on speed dial.
Well, just to put him on the spot real quick. What can this guy learn? What's still to come? What are some things that he still needs to learn from the current editor-in-chief?
Patience, a lot of patience. It's a stressful job. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It is a stressful job. It's hard to manage a team of writers and then a team of editors and then bring it all together. I have faith, though. I know he's a great recruiter. I know he'll bring more people in, and I know he'll adjust well, but definitely you got to learn patience. Justify your text.
Oh, that's the biggest one.
That's the number one thing, justify your text. But like when it comes to the little things, like with the program and stuff, I wouldn't say little things, but you know what I mean. When it comes to the program, when it comes to writing, he's so good at it. So he'll be fine. I know he's going to be great. He's going to have a great year, and they're going to crush it. And I'm going to be so sad that I'm not a part of it, but it's fine.
I'm glad you said, with the new team, Danny's not the only new member of the Cal Times team. How do you feel about, these new editors coming in? Not so much new, writers of the Cal Times, but a lot more responsibilities. How do you feel about this new team of editors coming in?
I feel good about it. I feel really good. I think they're going to do well. I think, you know, one of the biggest things, too, that I like to remind them, and they know this, I say it every week, it's okay to make mistakes.
Yep.
That's what we're here for. And we learn from them. It's a big learning process. It's not something you're just going to get overnight, and every paper is going to be perfect.
Yep.
I used to stress about the paper being 100% perfect, and you want to get it as close to perfect as you can, but sometimes that's not always possible. You know, we've had some issues with our printer. We've had issues with the new designs and stuff,
Yep.
but you know, it's an adjusting period. It's a learning period, but I think everyone's going to do really well. Just everyone
Yep.
needs to have patience
Yep.
and trust the process. Colin Kirkwood's favorite saying,
Trust the
the
process.
process.
Yeah, there you
have
go.
to, that's the big thing with
Yep.
being in a newspaper industry.
And you know what? That's good you say that, because being a part of the campus newspaper, there's room for adjustment. There's room for mistakes. That's the whole reason people need to come down to, you know, fix those mistakes, because once you get out in the world, there is no, you know, opportunities to fix those mistakes. You'll get the boot. But Danny, you know, Rachel is giving you all these tips. You know, what can we look forward to with Cal Times to come? What are some things that maybe you want to bring to the table or even change? Because you can, you know, Rachel said it best, the paper isn't perfect, nor will it ever be. But what are some things that you can bring to the table to make it, to take it to the next level?
Well, I mean, just follow in her footsteps, really, because, I mean, I've been under her wing. I mean, she was the sports editor before me, then I got the sports editor, now she's editor-in-chief, and now I'm taking over that role. So just really follow what groundwork she's laid already. I think that's the biggest piece of the puzzle that I'm really looking to stress this year. We have a great staff, really solid staff that I think that we're going to do pretty well. And a lot of those writers, too, have been writing for a long time. It's not like we're just throwing some people into these roles, into these positions. And we're also lucky because we have a few pieces from this staff that are sticking around that aren't graduating, or maybe a few are graduating in the winter rather than the spring with me. So we have a few of those people to help out as well. So that leadership role is going to be awesome.
Yep.
But, I mean, just really, like I said, just continuing what she's already laid the groundwork for, and just continuing. Like I said, maybe we're going to see a few crossword puzzles and some cartoons. I don't know, like a lifestyle thing.
Yeah.
I know we already have one of those, but you know, maybe mix it up, make it a little bit fun. I think that those are the cooler pieces from a newspaper, and I think that we should implement those if we could. Jeff Helsel, I don't know if he'll agree with that, but we'll see. We'll throw that in there.
Yeah, and you mentioned the new staff, the new team of editors, even, you know, some writers that will be in the near future, a couple semesters even. They're going to be graduating as future editor-in-chief. Danny, how are some ways that you can get some people, you know, down to the Times, start writing and to stick with it?
Mm-hmm. That's always going to be the hardest piece.
Yep.
I mean, with CUTV, we see that. With WCAL, we kind of allow, I mean, a lot of people, because it's really self-expression with WCL, and that's what we're really going to have to stress here with Cal Times, because of the fact that, you know, here you really get to go out into the community, and that's where we're also pushing out a lot of more community stories and stuff like that. And we're doing the same thing with CUTV this year with News Center. So if you go out into the community, people know your face, you get that, I guess, popularity, if you will. People, you go out in public and people know who you are and stuff like that, and that's really what we want to see. You want to get your face out in the public, and here in Cal Times, we're pushing that, we're stressing that, getting out to the community, doing more Cal stories, and you know, that's the opportunities that we're going to have. So, I mean, even writers, like we said before, with contributors, you might think that you're doing some small piece, maybe just writing a story about the polar plunge or something like that in Cal. You're pushing that news out. It's a good cause. Even the football team, just doing simple stories like that, you're getting your face out in the public.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about that. It's tough. It's always going to be tough. That is one of the big issues. Now, you know, if you're watching this, can you guys tell them now, as we get to the end of the show, the nuts and the bolts of the conversation, Rachel? How can people get involved with the Cal Times?
Anytime we're down at the media suite, somebody's down there at least during one of the hours of normal operation. Just come down, talk to us. It doesn't matter if you're a staff writer. It doesn't matter if you're a contributor. We want you to come down with us. They can reach us on Instagram at Cal Times Newspaper, on Twitter at Cal Times, and on Facebook, the California Times Newspaper. And just really have the spirit to get into it, and always try something new, because I know me and Danny both, we're both big sports people, but I know a lot this semester. I covered the corporation meeting, and I never expected I'd ever do that. They're saying money and like all this other stuff. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, but we're gonna try it and see where it goes. But never be afraid to try something new. There's something for everyone there. Graphic design, photos, anything. It's a lot of fun, and it's so worth your time.
Yeah, and that brings an important point is you don't have to be a English major, you don't have to be a journalism major to join the Cal Times.
No, it doesn't matter what major you're in. We have political science majors. That's our news editor, Mari Boyle, who I have to shout out because she's graduating too with me. So she does a great job. We're going to miss her too. But you don't have to be a journalism major. All majors are welcome. If you want to write about science, write about science, for all we care.
That's one of the more unique clubs, I think, with all of here in the Media Suite. And it goes full circle with all clubs down here. I mean, people last year, we had criminal justice in CUTV, and kind of in the same thing with Cal Times, PR people, and that's another big thing. If you're going into public relations, this is stuff that you can use. That's one of the majors. I mean, you're having fun and you're being out in public, but you can also use this stuff to get a job and make money. That's what everybody's goal is, to make money. So this is a perfect club and a perfect idea to really just keep building on your professional career.
Clippings never hurt. Clippings never hurt.
And just one last thing we didn't cover, meetings. What time and where?
Well, they switch each year, it seems like, each semester. Right now, they are Mondays at noon, 11.
11.
See, like I said, last
They'll probably
semester.
Switch next semester for sure.
It really depends on the schedule when everybody else can meet. But yeah, so Mondays at 11 now. All confused because of the whole, each semester.
We'll keep them we'll keep them up.
Stay tuned to our social media like we put on there before, and we're definitely going to put up the meeting times and all that.
There you go. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Rachel. It was a good one. It's always fun having you two on the set. And thank you, everybody. Thank everybody back in the studio. Thank you to Gary Smith, our director. Thank you to Jeff Helsel, the man who runs Cal Times. And again, thank you for tuning in on CUTV and in the club. I'm Stephen Ruffing. Have a great day, everyone.